Please listen carefully.
Welcome to the Cultural Stew Podcast, coming to you from the Goat Factory Media Entertainment Studios. We are your cultural media recommendation podcast, giving you our take on what we think is worth carving your time out for, and also what we think you can pass on and maybe go cut that lawn instead. Warning, we use adult language, and there may be spoilers ahead. Hello and welcome. My name is Ron Herkins Jr. and welcome to episode 6 of the Cultural Stew for the week of March 18th, 2018. I am here with my co-hosts,
Tony Carter
and
Valerie Vidmar.
How you guys doing today?
Doing all right.
Well, tired.
Tired
and well.
Today we are going to talk about a little news we care about. We got some DC news, some Marvel news, some nostalgic news. A couple of our recommendations of the week, whether they are good or bad, Ghost Story, Tomb Raider, and Jumanji's latest introduction, Welcome to the Jungle. And then we're going to stroll on into today's stew. Can we trust the movie trailers? The truth in advertising. And kind of go through and discuss movie trailers. So not one particular media this week, but kind of a mishmash of things that we decided to talk about. So what big things happened this week? I know one, last week we were talking about her latest flick, Wrinkle in Time. Ava DuVernay just got hired to be DC's director for The New Gods, a new superhero flick from DC. Anthony, how do you feel about this?
I mean, I know why she did what she did. So it's that whole, waiting for her, I guess. But I would have picked Marvel over DC. But then she also wanted to do A Wrinkle in Time. So I guess you pick your battles, or you pick your passion projects, ones that you know you actually can deal with for a long time. So I don't blame her, but it's weird.
It's a little weird to me.
It's a little weird.
Why?
Why is it weird?
Yeah.
Because DC has been a shit show, as we discussed last week.
She wants to bring it back.
She had the opportunity to get Black Panther, and I think she got her in with Disney with Wrinkle in Time, and I think she had her opportunity.
You know the backstory of The Wrinkle in Time? The backstory was that she read it when she was a kid, and she wrote Walt Disney saying she wanted to make this movie. He died weeks later, and then it came up later, and she got to do the movie. I mean, she's wanted to make this movie since she was in 6th grade. So the fact that it came up for her, and then she got this huge budget to make it. I mean, I don't know. It seemed like it was meant for her to do.
Well, Judy Bloom, if you're listening, I want to do Superfudge and Tales of a Fourth Grade Nothing.
Are you being a jackass?
I'm serious. Those are my favorite books of all time.
I just think it's odd because she had an in with Disney, and she basically had her pick of doing any film in the Marvel universe that she wanted to do. She could have picked the Black Widows.
Picked Wrinkle in Time over a Marvel movie.
No. I'm talking about going forward.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about Wrinkle in Time. I'm saying that is what she chose, so she went with Wrinkle in Time. But now for her next film, she's moving over to DC Universe and directing New Gods, which is pretty much, unless you're a really big comic book, you have no clue what New Gods is.
What is it?
Steppenwolf in the latest Justice League, the bad guy in Justice League. You haven't seen Justice League, so Steppenwolf is the big baddie in there, and it just basically goes off on all the New Gods that Steppenwolf.
Steppenwolf is
it's a band. Yes.
It's a band.
It's a band.
Yes.
It's a theater in Chicago. Pretty awesome.
Yes.
Chicago.
But it's an oddity to me to choose that over choosing something and also choosing a property such as Marvel that has been proving of good stuff over and over.
Maybe she wants a challenge.
She can have the challenge. I'm just saying it. In my opinion, I think it was the wrong choice.
I would have fostered my relationship with Disney more.
And strengthened that instead of walking away from Disney and
saying,
possibly putting them on the back burner and backside in any future projects.
Wouldn't it be like a conflict of interest to cross over? I mean, Joss has done it, but wouldn't that be weird to go from DC?
Joss cut all ties when he went over.
Right.
He can't come back over to the Marvel world.
You guys and your first name basis, Joss.
We didn't.
Why not?
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Thank you.
Angel, Firefly, Dollhouse.
So, tell. I mean, Patty Jenkins did well with Wonder Woman.
And Wonder Woman 2 is coming out. This been
as
confirmed.
we discussed, we need more women directors stepping up and doing
whatever
stuff
they want to do.
Yeah. So I don't have an issue with that. I just have an issue with what was chosen, because I don't think the New God story is one that needs to be told.
Well,
because they need to strengthen the big characters, and they've kind of destroyed the big characters.
Their foundation has been destroyed.
come on, you guys.
It's true.
We'll see what happens.
I don't want to see what happens.
Oh my gosh, pessimistic.
What else we got for news out there?
Local news. Jiva has cast Eve Plum, Jan Brady, and Steel Magnolias. So we have a big name coming to Rochester. Last year, I think we had her sister Marcia in town for a event. She was speaking. So now we have Marcia, and who we had, I think, what was his name? I don't know, the brother, Greg.
Really?
He was here for Estrofest fundraiser event a couple years ago. So we're getting all the Bradys pretty soon in town. But Eve will be here for a month and a half probably for Steel Magnolias. So that's exciting.
What character?
Let's see. I didn't write it down, but I should have.
One of the main ones.
But one of the main ones.
That's hilarious.
Well, they're not going to cast her as one of the actresses in the background.
No.
There aren't any.
There's a few little bits.
Okay, whatever. Moving on.
And the trailer for Infinity War, the second trailer and final trailer for Infinity War dropped. And it's pretty awesome, pretty sweet. A lot of eye candy, but a lot of good story going forward. And that's phenomenal. Now we have to wait.
I'm pretty excited for it. I got my tickets for opening night.
He did.
When is it?
April 26th. The day it opens April 27th, but opening night is the night before. So it's April 26th.
How are you seeing it?
How am I seeing it?
IMAX 2D?
No, they do not have this one coming out in 2D and IMAX.
So you're doing 3D?
No.
Ooh, no.
I'm going to the regular showing.
So no IMAX?
No IMAX, no.
Okay.
I won't see a 3D film just to see a 3D film.
Some movies were made to be in 3D.
Avatar was an exception.
Right. Some are made to be in 3D. This was not made to be in 3D.
No. Okay. A lot of films are being turned 3D, which like some Disney films are being
How
converted.
do we know if it's made to be? It'll say made for 3D.
There's very few out there. Like the last one that was really, I think, made in IMAX for specifically 3D was probably Transformers. Last year.
Did you see
because
Frozen was beautiful in 3D? I'm telling you.
The IMAX equipment is very expensive to film in, and 3D IMAX means you have two IMAX cameras next to each other filming, so the costs are insane. So you're only going to see a major, huge blockbuster, pretty much, or a very, very small independent.
How do they make it into 3D then?
They're offset. So the camera lenses are just slightly offset.
Do you know what I'm saying? How do they make a 2D into 3D?
It's part of the post-process. They go through there and they do digital 3D.
Okay.
They'll pick out certain parts of the film and just say, okay, this is going to be moved up to the front. This is going to move to the back. They just split a cell screen.
Okay.
A lot of technical stuff in there. I'm also pretty excited for Ready Player One to come out.
So, how long do we have?
2 weeks.
Okay.
We need to buy our tickets. You have your tickets for that too?
No, that one's going to have to wait until day of to hopefully me to find some place to swing into.
I think
I spent my pre-advanced ticket money on Infinity War.
I want us to go to a movie together and do like a Roger Ebert.
We should.
Thing.
We should do that.
I think that would be fun. Or science fiction.
Got to find the right movie.
Okay.
Also,
Next.
Danny Boyle has been tapped to direct the latest and last Bond film with Daniel Craig. He is from Trainspotting, Sunshine, and Trainspotting 2, which was not on my favorite list. And yeah, it's surprising. So we have a Scotsman taking the helm, and Sam is gone. Sam Mendes, sorry. And I don't know. I like their writing style. I like what they do, but I'm not sure if Danny's right for Bond.
It's interesting that this comes 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks from what I last heard from actually Christopher Nolan passing on this latest Bond.
Okay.
He's been talking about wanting to do a Bond film for several years now.
Correct.
And we thought that, this is going to be the one. But I'm kind of guessing maybe there might be something between him and Daniel Craig as to him waiting till Craig is gone to come back into the Nolan universe, or for Nolan to step in and take the Bond.
Right.
And there's also been talk of Idris Elba being the next Bond. And so that would be interesting.
But we have one more with Craig?
We do.
We get this one more with Craig, and there's been 3 years since the last one?
I think so.
So it's been a long process.
But he's been fighting it. He doesn't want to do it. He's been saying, I don't want to do it, because he's been saying it's like torture.
It's torture on his body. The stunts are hell, and he's been getting injured. So, but
and it's grueling.
Looking into the future, if Nolan was to pick one, I think Idris Elba would be awesome as Bond. The person I would prefer would be Cillian Murphy. I think Cillian Murphy would be a pretty awesome Bond. But he's from Peaky Blinders.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He also played Scarecrow in Batman.
And
Batman
Dunkirk.
sagas.
The murderer in Dunkirk.
Yeah, he was the in Dunkirk. He was the one that they got off the ship and ended up. So, anything on your list that caught you?
As I was watching, now that we don't know what I was watching, but I was watching something. I think had to have been This Is Us, I guess. But that doesn't really make sense. But the crimes of, she's going to kill me, Grindelwald. Does that sound good? The Crimes of Grindelwald trailer came out, which I had no clue that this was even coming. So when I saw it, I was super excited because my daughter is going to flip out. As well as my sister and my niece, and I'm a Potter. I'm not quite a Potterhead yet. I am.
Is that the official name, Potterhead, or is it Pothead? I mean, I haven't heard.
It's Potterhead.
Okay, because
it's Potterhead. I'm not calling my 8-year-old child a pothead.
I mean, redheads are redheads. So I was just wondering if that was the new nickname.
So I was very excited. I thought the trailer looked. I thought the trailer looked good. Did you guys see it at all or no?
I saw it. I mean, I've watched all the Harry Potter films.
Oh, that's right. Neither one of you are.
I've seen them all. I've slept through some of them, but okay. So I
slept with some of them.
Nah.
Slept through. My wife got a.
Which one did you sleep with?
Blu-ray DVD set from a friend of ours for her birthday, and we.
Does she like them?
She loves them. She has all the books, and
okay,
I tried to. Really, I was on and off, awake, asleep. So I tried. I really
thought it looked good.
It does, but
my girls love them.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll watch them because they want to watch them, and it's something that keeps their interest. But for me, I can.
Well, it brought reading back. I mean, it really did. Those books. Fantastic. Okay.
Making reading sexy.
That's always a good thing. Well, they had Pizza Hut
2 glasses at a time.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Oh my gosh. I can never win with this group.
Well,
you said we were trying to win.
Side note, when I was a kid, they had Pizza Hut book programs where you read books. And then they gave you,
and you got a personal pan pizza.
Yes. That's why I read so much.
That was awesome.
So
loved
they're bringing it back, but that's a side note.
Sorry. That was very exciting for me. Small town. You could go to Pizza Hut and get your own personal pan pizza.
You can now go to Cinemark and get a personal pan pizza.
And it's made of chocolate chips.
Well, no, there's regular pizza there too.
Oh, they do. I saw the chocolate chip pizza. Yeah. That kind of jumped out at me.
That the smell of that hits you when you walk in is that cooking cookie.
That's really, yeah. I haven't bought it yet. It looks delicious though. Anyway.
But as with all things, they're overpriced.
Oh my gosh. The amount of money that I spend on goodies. It surpasses the amount of money I've spent on tickets.
Oh, easily. Yeah.
Why are you shaking your head?
I have perfected the art form of bringing my own snacks into the theater.
No.
I'm not going to pay.
You're one of those people.
Lawbreaker.
I'm a rebel.
Sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't.
I always do. I can't.
When the kids were little, it was really easy to bring stuff in.
Right.
Because you came in with the diaper bag or whatnot.
I have a big purse. It's not a problem.
I don't carry purses, so.
Know.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
You could.
And me walking in there with a backpack would probably...
What's in there? What are you hiding?
Me solo walking in there with a backpack would probably set off some alarms.
Right.
True.
Well, that wraps up our news portion of the day. A little bit longer than usual, but hey, we had some fun. Going into our recommendations of the week. Up first, we got Valerie with...
a ghost story. Ooh. It's not like that.
Oh.
Okay, I have strong feelings about this movie in a good way. I watched this alone because I wasn't sure what to expect. So I figured you know, with those movies that you don't really know and you want to watch it by yourself, so you exactly know how you're feeling about it instead of worrying about the next person next to you. So the movie stars Casey Affleck and Rooney Mara, and they have these two well-known actors that are given character names in the movie. They're just C and M. That is how we know them. So if you need to remember, it's C for Casey, M for Mara.
Nice.
Wow. They're really original with that.
I don't know if that's why they did it, but
experimental.
Anyway, they're married. They are in love, but they are complicated creatures, as these two would be performing. And Affleck's character, C, is quiet, and he speaks his feelings through music, like a lot of us do. And it's like the soundtrack is stunning. It's from Daniel Hart, is a solo violinist who records with some of his bands. And Rooney Mara's character, M, is more likely to use her words. So she brings up her strong feelings about being in this house. She's hearing some strange noises. The piano is making noises. She's kind of getting creeped out. She wants to move. He does not. So they have a little spat about that. The next day, C is killed in a car accident feet from the front door, which is probably about 10 minutes into the film. So we get he's gone soon, in a way. Anyway, so they have a scene where she goes to view his body. She covers him back up with a sheet, and she walks out of the morgue, and we're sitting there with the sheet. He sits up. He gets off the table. He walks around. So there's where the sheet comes in. So Casey Affleck is wearing a sheet through the movie with black eyes that are not cut out, but they're painted on. So you don't see his eyes through it. It's just
so
black.
Kind of like how little kids during the 80s used to walk around with a sheet.
Yes, exactly like that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, so he walks around and he comes across what looks like a portal because it is white light, and he decides no, he's going to go home and be with M. So we go home and we're with M as well. So to me, this movie has a lot of themes. It has a lot to do with time itself. The time a human exists, obviously, which is made shorter by an accident. But Lowry, who is the director, he also directed Casey and Rooney in a film previously to this, which I wrote down and then took off because I had never heard of it. But you can look that up. Anyway, so we are given a lot of long language shots in this movie. You're sitting with these characters for a long time, and Lowry just keeps the camera on Rooney where she is, she's given a pie to kind of, how people give food during a time of grief. She's alone. She's got the pie and she eats it for 4 minutes. We sit and watch her eat this pie for 4 minutes. I know that sounds brutal to some people, but I guess to me, it's like sitting with someone, not saying a word, like a friend would do if you're with someone who's grieving. And it's an unremarkable thing. So, but that's how life is. It's a sum of unremarkable moments. So you go through and he sits with this house. She moves on. She moves out of the house. He's stuck with the house and this portion of land that this house resides on. So you see different people moving in and out. He gets rid of them. There is a secret of a note, which you'll have to watch to get that part of it, which is actually pretty interesting. And then we have it's a loop, which I was trying to describe to my daughter, a loop of time. I think he has us sit with Rooney for such a long time to kind of give the idea of how long things actually take. And in movies, we are so used to it going fast, 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 fast. Here we're sitting with it. So then we go with Casey through a long loop of time with the history of this house, the future, and then the past rolls around. I can't really get into that whole thing. You have to watch it. But it's a haunting movie, but in a totally different way. It stuck with me this entire time. I think I watched it maybe a week ago or so. There is a review on the website about it. It's cool. It's shot practically in a square, 1:33 ratio, which is a lot like our old family films, which I thought was beautiful. And
so it's shot in 16 mil? 30 super 16?
Yeah, it's just a perfect
4x3?
Almost a perfect square.
4x3.
I have it as a 133. Anyway, there's a fantastic soundtrack that goes with it, so be aware to look into that. I get overwhelmed by dark rooms, and Lords is on there. Whenever Alabama Shakes, 1975, are a few on the soundtrack. And I'll leave you with this, with Windy Eyed from The Observer, who says... Oh my God,
we're talking about a ghost story,
and now we're
feel
hearing
haunted right now.
What you guys were looking? That is strange. Anyway, I just thought this quote was so beautiful, and it means so much about the movie. Do you hear that?
Yep. I hear everything.
That's terrifying. Okay, bereavement isn't limited to the person left alive, but only the person left alive retains the tools to proceed, to process grief and move on, which he is not able to move on. So I recommend this movie to those who have patience, to those who want to see more of like a film study or like a piece of poetic art in a way. It's not going to be this fast, bustling entertainment. So I don't particularly recommend it to you, Ron. I don't know. I think you could get through it.
These kind of films remind me of my student films in college.
Yes. Like experimental films.
Experimental, yeah.
I'm telling you, if you have the time, it's 87 minutes of your life. It's worth it just to have your brain grow just a little bit more.
Okay.
And if anything, listen to the music. So
see if I can palette Casey Affleck in
the music.
You don't see him.
He might not have been in the film that long.
He dies in 10 minutes, and then you don't see him at all.
By his stunt double.
That one of the saddest moments I have to share is that he looks out to see another ghost in another window, and he says, "Hi," and "Hi. What are you doing?" "I'm waiting for someone." "Oh, really? Who?" "I don't remember." They have these moments that are just heartbreaking, but see it. I say see it.
Cool.
Okay.
How about you, Tony? What did you see?
I saw Jumanji, Welcome Back to the Jungle, which is the sort of unofficial sequel to Jumanji with Robin Williams and David Alan Grier and just a whole bunch of other people. That was like a mid-90s, early 90s film when it came out. So,
it's definitely an official sequel.
Okay.
And they set that right up at the beginning with the game board turning into the video game.
My brain not here today.
Yeah.
It tries to be.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But we have Jake Kasdan, which is Larry or Lawrence Kasdan's son, which is always exciting that the torch is being passed.
Star Wars.
Yes. We have Chris McKenna as the writer.
I love Lawrence.
We have Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Jack Black, Kevin Hart, Nick Jonas, and Karen Gillan, who was Amy Potts in Doctor Who. I didn't recognize her at first, but then it took me a while. I'm like, oh, your face. Different. But yeah. And then we have Bobby Cannavale, who's one of my favorite actors to look for in movies. I love this movie a lot. I didn't want to watch it. My wife saw it first and said, you need to watch this. And I'm like, I don't want to watch a movie based on a video game or a board game. But it was good. I was entertained the whole time. I felt like everyone in the movie had fun making it. The trailer kind of misled me. We'll get to that in a minute. But it was a good time. The music was on point. I think more so than the original. I felt this one had more of an impact for me. We weren't running around screaming and things weren't happening, which we had a point. We were here in Jumanji. Our goal was to get the gem back in the eye. And
it's hard to top a film that has Robin Williams in it.
Yeah,
and
it is.
Has lasted, what was that, 96?
Yeah.
Here we are 20-something years later. But I love the Rock and Kevin Hart's relationship in this film.
They're in a lot of movies together. I think that they have natural chemistry bouncing off each other, and it's interesting. I know Kevin Hart improvised some lines, you can tell, and it works. It really does work for him. But I think the heart of the story is that we're all different, and we all have a piece to add to the puzzle of life and dynamics and communities. And I think Jack Black's character, who he's sometimes always plays a feminine, kind of character sometimes for laughs, but in this case, there's a reason for it. And the whole character transforming and becoming the woman through him becoming someone else really was powerful for me. And it wasn't just Jack Black being feminine. It was Jack Black playing a young teenage girl who didn't really know what she could offer the world besides her looks and her, I guess, self-imposed narcissism. But I think it worked where everyone had an arc and everyone changed as a result of it. And I really enjoyed the film, and I would say watch it when you can. Watch it when you need a laugh. And it just felt really good to watch, and I was entertained by it. So watch it soon.
I know when I went and saw it, I didn't go in with very high hopes.
Right.
It was one of those ones where I set the bar very, very low, and it was like somebody who can easily jump a 6-foot high bar jumping over something that's only 3 foot. It was like they cleared it with ease. And
they're written so well. It was intelligent writing, and it's just... I mean, also we have a little cameo by Colin Hanks at the end, which was always nice to see. Grace was like, who is that? Looks familiar. I said, think about his dad. And she said, who is it? Look at him. Look at his eyes.
More and more like his father every time I see him.
So, but he's a good actor too. So, I mean, Tom has passed those genes on. So, I don't know. I liked it a lot. Kevin and Dwayne to do more films. And I think they are doing more films, more and more. So, and it's nice to see Karen do films outside of England and off TV. So,
you know, she's Nebula, right?
Don't tell what?
She's Nebula in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Why did I slip my brain?
Because she's bald.
That's why.
She shaved her head.
That's why.
So you have actually seen her in the last couple of years.
Mind blown. Okay.
I have not seen her. Okay.
She's a good actress.
As in you don't know who she is?
No idea.
Doctor Who?
You never saw Doctor Who?
No.
We need to catch you up on that. But yeah, good times. So, Ron, what did you see?
I went and saw Tomb Raider this week.
Ooh.
The new one with Alicia Vikander.
Nice.
Directed by Roar Uthig. I have no clue what this guy has directed before. He's kind of new to me. But Alicia, as we know, she won Oscar for...
The Danish Girl.
The Danish Girl a couple years ago. And it's got Walt Goggins, Dominic West, and Daniel Wu. Daniel Wu's and Walt Goggins are a couple of my other favorite little actors. Walt Goggins has just been phenomenal on the series Justified, which is no longer on. But Daniel Wu has been on Into the Badlands, which is on AMC. But the reason I like him is he's a talented martial arts person. So you see him on there, you're like, oh, they're going to have some great action scenes in Tomb Raider. So short story. Also, the music is by Junkie XL.
Nice.
You say nice.
Well, I mean, they do. I mean, not in this case, but they do nice music sometimes. Trailer music sometimes. But
so Tomb Raider, if you've been living in a hole, Tomb Raider is based off of a video game. There was a 2001 with Angelina Jolie. They finally came back and rebooted this with Alicia a couple of years ago as casting, but it's taken a long time to actually finally get put out there. And they rooted this one a lot more in the most recent video game to kind of try to give her a little bit more reality. But as the story comes off, you get Laura popping in as a basically sad Lara, who her father ran away when she was a young kid, and she's never seen him for that. So she holds a big grudge and So the beginning scenes are of her just working off that grudge through mixed martial arts, through biking through the city, trying to get money. And then they like, oh, by the way, you are part of you are part of the Croft family, so you actually own a lot. And her rebuffs of accepting that her father is dead. And then she finally is like, oh, I get this little puzzle. I'm going to solve the puzzle. Oh, I got to go solve the puzzle instead of take care of my Croft properties here. And then for the next 30 minutes, it's pretty much Lara trying to trying to finish what her father started. And so she gets onto this island, meets Walt Goggins, who's the big baddie. He reveals very quickly that, oh, yeah, I killed your father. I mean, literally, probably like 2 minutes into the conversation, he's like, oh, yeah, by the way, I killed your father. It was just like thrown offhanded. And so you go through the next 15, 20 minutes of the film, and you're like, oh, Daddy's dead. And all of a sudden, guess who's not dead? Daddy's not dead. It was a very poor setup of that. I just think the story in general was very lacking. Nothing exciting there. I think Daddy should have stayed dead. I think Lara should have had that chip on her shoulder of her father leaving her, and just gone with it like that. I think Walt Goggins was very, very underused as the villain. He's a talented actor, and it was just, he wasn't scary in this. He was just an asshole, would be my best way to put it. Daniel Wu, I don't know if they've cut out a ton of this movie, but you bring in Daniel Wu, who's probably one of the best martial artists out there, and you put a gun in his hand and give him maybe 5 minutes of screen time. You don't show him doing any hand-to-hand combat, really. I thought that would have been something more. But the story is pretty forgettable. The action sequences are very video game derivative.
That's what I noticed in the trailer. They were very based on the video game.
You feel like you're actually like living an action video game at some points. You're like, oh, yeah, well, I know what's going to happen next. That's going to fall, and that's going to fall. And like they have the scene with the in the plane. It lasts for like, feels like 10 minutes. It probably is like 5 minutes, but it feels like 10 minutes because you're like, oh, wait, that's going to break. Oh, wait, that's going to break. And it just keeps dragging on and dragging on. My recommendation on this film is save it for a rainy day. If you like action stuff, you're not going to miss anything. I want to say that Alicia is perfectly cast as Lara. I think she's a great Lara.
Okay.
I think the story just sucked, and they could have done something better with it and made it a much better film. I think they are too tied into the Tomb Raider video game to make it good. What they need to do is just like, okay, it's Lara Croft Industries, and then just break away from it and actually do something a little bit more rooted in reality and a little less video gamey. There are points in her action sequences though that I was like, what the heck is happening? She didn't look natural because the CGI was just so overdone that it was like, it took me out of it. So
okay.
Me. And as for Junkie's music, it was probably the worst thing that he's probably put out to date. It was a lot of noise. I went back and listened to it this week, and I was like,
That's scary.
Yeah. So that's my thoughts on Tomb Raider.
Wow.
What?
Nothing. It's like a Nazi kind of.
Well, the thing is that I played all of the Tomb Raider games from PlayStation to Xbox now, One, and they're not bad video games. I mean, they've gotten to the point where, I mean, I've seen the progression of graphics too, from being really blocky and the tiger coming at you.
It's hard when you can point to the video game and actually say the video game has a better story than what got put out in the film.
True.
That's sad.
Yes.
But I have no input.
Yeah.
Is it females?
I played a handful of the Tomb Raider games. I like the more recent one better because it went away from being that like, oh, it's all this mystical stuff to being a little bit more rooted in like, oh yeah, I can plausibly see this happening. And
I was the only person who was upset they cast Angelina as Lara Croft in the original movies. I'm like, I don't see her. I think it was just eye candy and she had to build, so to speak, for it. But I'm like, there has to be someone else out there. And Alicia fits the height, the body build, the character. She's actually English. Yeah. So there are so many factors. But
I was going to go back and watch the first one yesterday, and I was like, nah.
It's on TV.
It was on TV. recently. It was awful.
Yeah.
But she won an Academy Award.
Her father was in that with her too.
Daniel Craig was in too.
Yes, Daniel Craig was the baddie.
Gosh, Daniel Craig was.
He was the bad guy, man, with hair.
I know.
Really bad hair. On that note, we are going to take a short break, and we will be right back. Hey, you. That's right. I'm talking to you. Insert your ad here. That's right. Ever wanted to become part of an ad? Ever have something that really wants to be shared and it's created and made by you? Well, this is your chance. Become part of the Cultural Stew advertising platform. Contact us today. See what we can do for you and what you can do for us. And welcome back. Today, we have an interesting stew topic today. What are we talking about, Tony?
We're talking about film trailers. So in the awesomeness that is the Infinity War trailer, it was coming out. I knew it was coming out, and I thought about it. Can we trust trailers? Do they tell us the truth? Do they leave things out, or do they put too much in? There's so many factors in these things. They're trying to get us into the theater to see the movie, but how do they go about doing it? Is it ethical? Not really ethical, I guess. Is it the right way? Ron, you said something earlier about your pet peeve with trailers. You want to share that right now? Or
which pet peeve?
Well, let's start with one, and we'll go to Valerie.
One of my pet peeves that has been happening, and I don't know why I didn't notice it before, is the things that make the trailer but don't actually make the final film. Whether they are simply a visual image or scene, or if it's actually a dialogued scene that all of a sudden, like when you get to actually watching the film, my mind is constantly calling back to the trailer and saying, especially when you get into a scene, you're like, oh yeah, that's where this is going to fit in. And then it's not there.
Okay.
So a good example of some of that was, in the latest thing was Rogue One. A lot of visual images in Rogue One that didn't make the actual final film.
Okay.
And a lot of that had to deal, I know, with the shooting style of, who directed that? Whoever the director was. Gareth. Was that Gareth?
I'll come to you.
Gareth Edwards, I believe. Is that he just kind of shoots a lot of stuff, and he always has the camera rolling. So he'll catch things that are happening, whether like an actor's just walking up to a scene to get ready, or they're just coming down from a scene, or they're looking a certain way. Like little stuff like that, which will never make the final film, but they're on film. And so they like, oh yeah, well, let's use this as part of the footage. I know there was one where a big one in Rogue One was the TIE fighter? No, it was the TIE fighter that came down at the bridge and was facing off against the lead character. It didn't happen in the film. It just wasn't there.
Okay.
I mean, that was a huge thing. It's like you're expecting, like, oh, she's going to have to dodge out of the way of TIE fighter, but it didn't happen. So that's one of my biggest pet peeves and one of the things that has locally happened.
I don't know if I have... See, a little known secret about me is that I went to college I wanted to direct trailers. I wanted to make trailers. That's what I wanted to do because I felt like that's what gets you to the movie. And I liked the idea of it, this short, the shots that they choose, the music that they choose, what is going to get people to get into those seats. I found it fascinating. So there have been a lot of things that I looked forward to seeing in the movie, obviously. So it's sort of like yours. I just kind of thought, well, they did that to get us in there, or they found out later that they couldn't have said that. For the latest being The Greatest Showman. He's sitting down. It's Hugh Jackman and Zac Efron sitting down, and he says something like,
"Showbiz."
Showbiz.
What's that?
Show business. I've never heard of it. It's because I just made it up, and it's not in the movie at all.
They sometimes shoot scenes that are just for the trailer too. That's one thing I have heard, that they shoot some moments. Some moments are made just for the trailer. but they won't admit that in advertising.
A lot of things that you'll hear are people say, the movie's okay. All the funny parts were in the trailer.
Yeah.
That happens a lot.
And I think when that usually happens, that's a good key of saying that's not going to be a good film.
Correct.
But we don't know that until we're sitting there.
The funnier the trailer is, typically the worse the film is.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what I've been finding.
But there's movies that the trailer, I've watched a trailer that made me want to watch the movie like immediately afterward, which was The Shape of Water. Made me want to go to the movie theater right then.
I think fantasy films in general do that. Like good trailers for fantasy films pull you in where you want to see it right after. Like you wish that the trailer before the movie you're watching was the movie you're going to see after watching it. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So I'm going to take this back a little bit. We're going to talk about trailers who mislead you tone-wise, and I have two. One is Drive with Ryan Gosling, which watching that film, you would think that the movie was like a Fast and Furious, spin-off, but
Surprise.
no, the film was so slow.
God,
I mean, I
loved it,
but it was not what I thought it was going to be.
The music was, did you like the music?
I didn't care for the music. It was okay. I was more about the story, but I was just misled. And then we have World's Greatest Dad with the late Robin Williams, which again, the trailer for that film read like a comedy about a father and son battling it out, and it was nothing like that at all.
It's not. Have
It
you
was
seen it?
so sad and dark, and
I cried a lot.
the trailer said nothing about the son dying and then his father taking his writing and passing it as his own.
And the way the son dies.
Yeah, there's nothing in the trailer. I mean, I know it's not acceptable sometimes to talk about these things, but
I know.
the only way you know about what the film is really about is by reading IMDb's plot, the short little plot line, or reading underneath. But the trailer, if you're just going visually and not reading anything, you come into the movie thinking, oh, it's going to be a fun comedy film about a family. It's not. And
It's kind of
depressing and it's messed up. And
the way the son dies is the way Robin Williams died. And I was watching it, and it was
heartbreaking.
It's really heartbreaking.
So there's probably something behind their way that they try to do that with the trailer. Is like, they don't want to direct your attention to like, oh yeah, Robin Williams just died. This is how he died. Oh, by the way, we have a movie with Robin Williams in it, and the son dying the same way he's dying. Right. Doesn't that sound like a joyful film to go see?
It came out
way before. Like,
did it?
Yeah.
Oh,
but honestly, that's why it was so
difficult for you?
Yeah. It came out of nowhere and hit me. And I was watching it thinking, holy cow. I don't know. But then there are surprises. I mean, I watched, I don't know if you've seen this movie, but it's called The End of the Tour.
That sounds familiar.
It's about David Foster Wallace and his interview with Rolling Stone. And it's his last interview that he does. And I watched the trailer, I think at midnight, and I had to watch it that night. If you haven't seen it, I'd watch it. It's a great movie.
Who's in the movie?
It's with Jason Segel and Jesse Eisenberg.
Oh, Jesse. Okay. I think I've heard of that.
It's very, very good. But so that was a payoff. But you never know what you're going to get. So it's just, I mean, films are doing it just like anything else. They're advertising just like anything else. Hey, look, you're going to look like this if you wear this dress. I don't look like that. And you're going to look like this if you wear this makeup. No. And your hair, they're doing the same thing. They're buying into the same thing. So a good question would be, what movies have you seen that the trailer was a good representation of the movie?
I would say Almost Famous was a good one. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Any Martin McDonagh film, pretty much the trailer accurately portrays the tone and the storyline in a accurate way, I would say. Like, he tells you basically what the film's about. I mean, I guess In Bruges was a little off. I mean, you thought it was a lot faster, but In Bruges was a slow, meditative film too. But you got all the funny was in the trailer for In Bruges.
I think Nora Ephron films, the trailers are pretty accurate to what the movie was going to be about.
Well, yeah. So
Because maybe they're simpler? I don't know.
they're not relying on action and high octane.
Oh, I guess that's true. The action movies are where we're finding this out the most, I'm guessing.
Ron.
I mean, I don't have many trailers that really stick out unless there's something annoying in it to me.
Okay.
One of the things I've found annoying over the last couple of years has been what I call the lock and loaded sound in trailers. I'll see if I can add a clip in here of an example of that. But you can find it in Kong Skull Island. You can find it in Jumanji. Several films over the last couple of years where it's just like they're playing some popular 70s song and then they're loading their guns and time with the music and just goes into something else. It's a thread that's happened over and over in trailers. That's just getting annoying. And so I just, stand out a little bit with their trailer. Stop being a ripoff of other things. But
I feel like in The Force Awakens, that was the last Star Wars movie, correct?
Last Jedi.
The Last Jedi was the...
I'm sorry, The Last Jedi. I apologize. The Last Jedi, which one is it that has the trailer where Luke is handing over
The lightsaber?
the lightsaber to someone else? We think it's Leia. We don't know. And we have that scene, and it's not in the movie. I feel like that was...
Interesting that you brought up The Last Jedi because there's the thing in there where Rey is talking to...
Finn? Or describe? Who?
No, the guy that she grew up with.
No, the baddie.
Oh, you're talking about her brother, Ben Solo.
Oh, man.
Really?
This is horrible.
Look it up. You
We
got
know
a
who we're
computer in
talking
front
about.
of you.
Yeah.
The bad guy.
I know you're talking about. This the
Which bad guy?
Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren. Thank you. Wow, that's going to get cut.
Yeah.
There's a scene in the trailer where Kylo is imploring to Rey, "Let me help you," and he extends his arm, and it cuts to another scene of her looking like she's going to go into it, and they're two different scenes from two completely different parts of the movie that have nothing to do with each other.
Sad.
But yet they played it off in the trailer like Kylo Ren and Rey were going to be teaming up.
And uniting.
Isn't there a scene where... What movie is it? The Star Wars movie where it looks like Luke and Leia are about to kiss. They're leaning in to kiss, and that's in the trailer, and there's they don't ever kiss.
I probably saw the trailer a long time ago.
Probably TV trailer.
The special trailers, but
Makes
I don't know which
Silly things like that.
one thing, another annoyance that got me with the advertising in trailers was recent movie like Game Night. Mm-hmm. When a movie trailer actually gives away plot points that are vital to the story later on. In Game Night, you have Rachel McAdams talking to a henchman next to a jet engine, and the guy goes flying into the jet engine and dies. Well, if that wasn't in the trailer, you wouldn't know that everything in Game Night was a setup, but it wasn't really a setup at the end because there was real guys there. So it would have been a lot funnier. But they spoiled it because the trailer showed that, Rachel McAdams is standing in front of a bad guy and he just literally got killed.
Right. I think I've seen a couple of trailers.
So it spoils the whole fun of this is just a setup, ha ha ha.
There's a couple of trailers that came out. There's one scene in the trailer I saw where a gun goes off and there's blood everywhere and it kills someone. And then you have, Bateman cleaning it up. And he's like blood. I mean, just like the dog's eating something and the dog wags the finger or something. I'm not sure what it was, but a body part. And the dog bit it and sprayed blood everywhere trying to eat it. And it went everywhere. And there's... Yeah,
that's not in the movie.
See, that's what I'm talking about. There's a scene in the trailer where there's a dog, and it's it's weird stuff. It's all about advertising, getting us in seats, and
what kind of brownie you had the night before? It seems like.
What now?
Nothing.
I will say though, my wife wanted to go see Game Night.
I want to see it, so.
And so I went a second time to go see it, and it's just as funny the second time, even with knowing everything that's going to happen. I was kind of laughing at stuff before it happened. So it's it's completely quiet in the theater. I'm like, oh, this is funny. This is funny. But I'm like doing it to myself, and everybody's like,
Stop.
But, yeah.
Hype can do the same thing. Hype for a movie.
Yeah.
You know, a hype for a movie that for film students where you're supposed to watch this film. It's, you know, this is the best film you should be watching. A good example is Citizen Kane. Which I feel like now it would work because not very many kids know about Citizen Kane. And but back in the day, my mother said that people were running into movie theaters yelling,
Rosebud?
well, no, it's a sled. Like they would just, it's a sled, the whole thing. So there's a lot of movies.
That reminds me of people leaving Star Wars and saying, Han dies at the end.
Oh my gosh.
Like, you just want to smack those people. It's like, really? Speaking of smacking people, here's my public service announcement for the week. Pick up your damn trash when you're at the theater.
I agree. We always do.
The lights came on after seeing Tomb Raider, and it was just, really?
That's gross.
Why is it so hard? And shut the hell up during a movie.
No,
unless you're
can't do
laughing, be quiet.
People talk.
And this whole...
These two people behind me were chatting the whole time.
It gives them something to do. This is why they have a job. That rationale.
No, that's horrible
That's
mentality.
horrible, yeah.
We always pick up our trash.
It's
We're
not
very
that hard.
responsible.
If you got popcorn, you have a very large bin, which pretty much everything can fit into.
If you write it in, you can take it out.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Or
It's just
even if you
lazy.
write it in and you just put it back
I have a
into-
bag and I put everything in and I wait. Yeah, we do that while credits are rolling.
So if you're one of those people
clean up.
that walk out and leave all your crap everywhere and you look like popcorn exploded on your seat, think better next time.
Okay, another one. If you bought something that requires opening and it's plastic,
Open it
please
before or
open
during the
it
trailers.
open it during the movie starts, the trailers. Like, open everything first. I always tell my girls, open everything first.
And here's a little trick. If you have something that's candy, bring a cup or get a cup. Open it out of the wrapper and put it into the cup. That way you're not rattling the bag during the middle of the movie either.
You go to the movies too much, you can tell.
Oh, things annoy me. I've had it with this movie pass now.
Yeah.
I've gone to, I think I have them listed now, at least up to probably like 12 movies this year. And it's like the little things are starting to annoy me, just like people. And I was like, I told you, was it during 12 Strong or Hostiles, the guy next to me commenting on every little thing that was happening on screen. I just wanted to I was literally about to walk out of the movie and say, I'm going to come back another time because I cannot watch a movie with somebody talking like this.
Did I tell you that they gave us free tickets to come back to see an IMAX movie at Tinseltown because there was a little speck of dust that kept going over and over the screen, and it was driving everybody crazy. So I went out and asked about it, and they came back, and they couldn't get rid of it. So they gave us all free tickets for it.
So the IMAX
That's awesome.
is 2 projectors. Because of how big the IMAX format is, it's usually in 2 projectors. And so what they do is they have to have them aligned for 2D, and for 3D, they're split. There was something during the 2D, during Black Panther, that for the first 20 minutes, going from the trailers into the first 20 minutes of the film, I constantly was like, why are we stuck on 3D? Why didn't somebody fix this yet? And I was about to go up and yell, and all of a sudden it just fixed itself. I'm like, this is so annoying. Because you just feel like you're looking cross-eyed the whole time, and
That's
it's like...
That's maddening.
Anybody, if you
So
have
we
any,
kind of veered off from the trailers.
if you
but
have any other annoyances, list them.
But yeah, be a little bit more truthful with the trailers. And if you're not, don't spoil the stuff that's in the movie.
Right.
Or just don't watch the trailer.
Impossible.
It's interesting you bring that up. You know, I have a friend who won't listen to the show because he doesn't like spoilers, but he also won't. He has stopped watching trailers for movies that he's interested in because he doesn't want to know anything about them. And I've toyed with that. I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I would be able.
Completely blind, and it actually worked out well.
I don't know if I can because I love seeing pre-footage. That's what I consider a trailer is pre-footage. I love
This
getting
is
the
what we
first
should do.
glimpses of it.
We should pick a movie next month, and none of us see the trailer and go.
That's hard because I've probably already seen the trailer.
Well, try not
Apple
to.
Trailers is my friend sometimes, and YouTube.
Gosh. Well,
What?
try not to. I'll pick a movie then. I'll pick the movie that
10 movies, and we'll see if there's one that I haven't seen a trailer
I'll
for.
pick the movie that you guys wouldn't normally watch the trailer or go see the movie.
Good luck with that.
Not hard for Ron. I think there's a couple that he would not
She
see.
really thinks light of me, doesn't she?
She does.
No, it's.
I think I've seen the Love, Simon trailer like 5 times.
3 for me.
Will you see it?
I just really don't have an interest in seeing
It's
a
very,
rom-com that has to do with high school kids.
it's very formulaic. I read the book and I was waiting for the movie to come out. I was waiting and waiting, but it's gonna be what it's gonna be.
Well,
Feel good formula. And
Dustin says it's everywhere, all over any LGBT
Rightfully
magazine, anything. So he said
they're trying to make this more mainstream. I understand what
he
they're
didn't want to
doing.
be the last gay to not see the movie. So he's going to see it today, I think. There's some strange stuff going on today in this building.
It's very loud in this building today. I don't know why. Everybody's waking up. So that wraps up our discussion and media today. Looking forward to next week. Our topic is going to be what, Valerie?
Oh. In and about around the topic of, can movies really portray authentic relationships?
And what would be a good media for us to watch?
Listen, I gave these guys a list of movies. So we came up with The Squid and the Whale. But I also suggest that people watch High Fidelity and Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf and Once and Revolutionary Road.
But we're going to talk about Squid and the Whale.
But we are going to talk about Squid and the Whale.
Squid and the Whale.
A Splinter in the Grass. Just be prepared. So, yeah, Squid and the Whale is for next week.
Awesome.
Good.
Looking forward to this week. What's on your queue? What have you watched?
What do you
Tony.
want to watch? Or do you think you're going to watch, but maybe not?
See, I watched Fastlane last Sunday. You know, it's wrestling. It's predictable. So, you know who's going to WrestleMania. So, it's what it is. I'll be reviewing WrestleMania writing-wise. Write a review for that when it comes out. I watched Timeless Season 2's premiere last Sunday night. That was good. I love that show, and I'm glad it's back. Season 2, Episode 2 is tonight at 10, so tune in for that. The Lovers had Tracey Letts and Debra Winger. I haven't seen her in much. I kind of missed her, but she had a lot of inner politics stuff going on in movies, and no one wanted to work with her.
Did you watch that? Did you watch that?
The Lovers?
No, the Debra Winger documentary.
No.
She was the voice of E.T., wasn't she?
I think so.
Yeah.
But her and Richard had an issue, and then this whole sexual politics thing during Officer and Gentleman, and people didn't want to work with her. But the film was actually quite entertaining, predictable, but...
Searching for Debra Winger.
Is it Netflix or Amazon?
I'm just saying, watch it.
I'll find it. I always do. Marty's Silence, I saw. Beautifully shot. Andrew Garfield's in that with Adam Driver. Liam Neeson's in it too. I just couldn't keep watching it. It reminded me of The Mission. I love The Mission, but this film is just Martin Scorsese, just labored and long. I'll watch it again, try to watch it, but couldn't do it. I watched Still Magnolias in honor of the play Coming to Jiva, or not coming, sorry, it's not coming, it's already there, but
No, not yet.
not
It's
yet,
coming.
but it's they're performing it. Coming means it's a tour, and it's not a tour. I mean, Mark Cuddy would kill me if I said it that way. So it's not a tour, it's a show from Rochesterians, for Rochesterians, yeah, Mark. So,
Got another month.
it's in rehearsal right now, and like I said, Plum is going to be in it, so it should be exciting. I'll be getting my tickets to see that show. But I watched the movie, and that's a whole female ensemble of who's who in the 80s, 90s of people. So we have...
Have you not seen it before?
I've seen the movie several times.
Okay, just checking. I was just wondering.
I've seen the play several times, but it's a good story. And when I know a play based on a movie, a movie based on a play is being performed or nearby, I'll rewatch the movie and then see the play. I have on my queue The Last Tycoon, which has Matt Bomer, Kelsey Grammer, and Lily Collins in it.
On Amazon, right?
Yes, on Amazon. And I read the original story by F. Scott Fitzgerald, and it's unfinished, but it's finished, but he didn't finish it. So, but it's a good story, I hear. And it's about filmmaking in the 20s and 30s, and should be good. And it's also shot in HD, which is kind of interesting. So I want to see how that's done. But I'm excited for it, and we'll see what happens.
Did you say isn't or is?
It is shot in HD, like high 4K resolution or higher.
Oh,
they
yeah.
shot it pure HD. So
Yeah, Amazon's been putting out. I mean, Netflix has been doing the 4K thing for a while, but Amazon is starting to
jump on board.
It's beautiful. I love 4K.
I'm just interested to see how. I mean, honestly, I would have shot that series on film just for nostalgia's sake because it's about the early stages of film. But they're going to do what they're going to do, and we'll see what happens.
You have to have a 4K TV.
No, it just looks better on a.
No, Amazon. To watch it in 4K, yes, you have to have a 4K
Okay,
TV.
that's what
if
I
you
was-
don't have a 4K TV, Amazon will just put it in whatever format you're watching it on.
Do you have 4K TV?
No, not yet. Soon.
Is this like a wallet buster here?
No,
Really?
you can get. I mean, for under $1,000, you can get up to a 60 inch 4K easily. I mean, there's several for like the $300 to $400 or $300 to $500 range for like a 50 inch.
Cool.
But my opinion on TVs is they're not really worth it unless they're above 60 inches.
Okay.
You have room for it.
All right.
You can always make walls.
And in my new place, I can't. We'll get into that later, though.
You can block windows.
We'll talk about it later.
Okay. My turn. All right. I did finish Jessica Jones.
And
It was, I remember watching the first season, just really, really liking it. And this one, I don't know. I watched it till the end, but it was just kind of like, what is going on? I didn't really enjoy it as much, I will say. And your review of saying it's more, what did you say?
it felt like a soap opera. I mean, it felt like I
It
was
sorta
watching a
did.
family drama that was made during a daytime soap opera.
I didn't really need to see her fall in love.
I loved, in season one, I loved the storyline of her going kind of crazy in the head and Kilgrave, and you never really was Kilgrave really there or was he not? And then this season of her just dealing with like the big reveal of it. It's her, spoiler, whatever. There's a spoiler word in the beginning, I don't care. That it's her mother is the big bad villain this whole time. And the best episode to me was the one where Kilgrave comes by and she starts cracking again. Like, that's the Jessica Jones I like, is the Jessica Jones that is out of grip with reality. She just can't control whether you don't know if she's going to be one moment, she's going to be a completely normal person or she's going to just start flipping out. And Kilgrave kind of pushed that envelope a little bit. And then when she gets with her mother, she just kind of just waffles back and forth, and you're just like,
she's confused. I mean, it's wrong, but is she going to?
It hurt the character. I think you have this character who
I know what you're saying.
She was dead, and that's the same problem I had with the Lara Croft thing. If you're going to establish the character's dead, just leave them dead. Bring up something new.
That is soap opera-ish to have them come back to life.
Exactly. And it's very comic-ish, too. Unfortunately, people come back from life all the time in the comics. It just gets annoying. It's like, let's move past it's your parent, your daddy issues, your mommy issues, and let's do something different. And
will she forgive Patsy?
Common trope.
We'll see.
Okay, so I was up late that night. And
Patsy becomes Hellcat next, so whether they're going to go with that or not.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, is that why she was able to catch the phone?
They've been setting it up for both seasons.
Oh, okay. That's strange.
That's why she went into boxing, and they've alluded to who she was. And
she got on drugs. That was really...
That part of Jessica Jones season 2, I actually liked. I like watching somebody just completely... She fell apart the whole season. She went from being this person who had standing with all of her fans, and she had the standing with the radio show, and she just started falling apart from everybody, and she got hooked on basically the super drugs, and she destroyed everything around her.
Shoot, I forgot totally what I was going to say. Dang. Where does the Defenders fit into?
Defenders would have been before Jessica Jones season 2.
Okay, so there before.
You'd have to watch Daredevil 1 and 2 and Luke Cage and Iron Fist and Jessica Jones season 1.
Okay.
Because it's kind of, their stories start getting intertwined.
Talking and like I had just finished it out once they were talking. And I thought, okay, this must be before.
It's one of the downsides of watching Jessica Jones season 2 is there's very little illusions that they were just in this whole big group. And this has happened in the bigger Marvel world is like all of a sudden you have this big event happening. It's like, well, you were just in this team. Wouldn't these team members, wouldn't at least Luke Cage come back and help Jessica Jones fight this person who's stronger than Jessica Jones?
Yeah, that would have been good.
Wouldn't it make sense? No, he didn't. But it's the same thing like with the Avengers, like, Captain America with Winter Soldier, you have all this stuff happening. And it's like, well, we were just with the Avengers. Why wouldn't the Avengers come and help this big world-ending disaster kind of thing?
Okay.
But
reeling it
you
back
wanted
in.
To talk more about
reeling it back in. I need to finish Man in the High Castle. My friend Leslie is going to kill me. She's also going to kill me if I don't finish The Crown.
How's that going for you, by the way? I'm curious.
Which one?
The Crown.
The Crown. I'm still in season 1.
Okay, never mind. Keep
so
going.
Don't say anything.
We'll...
But she's really been talking it up, so I really need to get on there. And then Love, Simon, I would like to see. The Thoroughbreds, I would really like to see. And okay, guys. So I just kind of went on this crazy list. These are not obvious things I'm going to see this week, but these are on my queue, and you can write them down if you want. Good Time, I want to see that, as Robert Pattinson in it. That's not the reason I want to see it. I promise you. A Fantastic Woman, Rat Film, look it up. Some of these, if you don't know what they are, just look them up. Raw, which is not for everybody, so definitely look that up. Don't
it's
see
not the
that.
Eddie Murphy.
Do not
Raw.
see that movie without seeing the trailer. Raw, and then Ex Libre. It's actually a documentary about the New York Library. I'm kind of excited about that. And then there is, I forgot the I here. There's a movie called Kitty, which is about cats, which actually got fantastic reviews. So these are all little ones that I wrote down that I'm interested in. So feel free to look into those and see if any of those are things you'd like to see too.
Fun. I watched this week Hap and Leonard, season 1 and 2, which are now on Netflix. Really enjoying it. It's a dark comedy. It's got James Purefoy in it from Alter Carbon that I just watched, and also The Following, and the guy who plays Omar from The Wire. Really enjoyed it. I thought it was just a fun series. I just enjoyed it. It was just fun. I have no words besides that.
That's really
but it's enough.
descriptive.
It was enough that I blew through the 2 seasons, and they're not long seasons. And season 3 just started up, and it's just as quirky as the first 2 seasons. So I'm looking forward to catching that on a more regular basis now. I've been pelted every time I've gone and sat at the theaters by the Sneaky Pete ads. And I think Sneaky Pete has been in my queue on Amazon for at least the last year, maybe year and a half. I think it started in 2015, 2016. And I finally got around to watching season 1, and I just blew through it. I'm just like, oh, this is hilarious. Giovanni Ribisi is a terrific character actor. And to watch him constantly have to improvise, I mean, he's not improvising on script, but he's improvising in his situations that he's put into constantly, that he's like, oh, I got to fix it. And he's constantly covering up his lies by making more lies. And it's the consequences of those and constantly trying to fix those. It's like watching a really great shell game and just him. So it's a highly recommended show for me. Looking into starting season 2 tonight while I edit this show. I've been listening to a couple soundtracks this week. Listened to Black Panther, which is by Ludwig Göransson, who also did the score for Creed for Ryan Coogler, and also just did Death Wish. Digging it a little bit. It's got a very, as I was talking with Anthony before, the fight scenes have a very Rocky-esque sound to them. And that is you can see that brought over from Creed. That's a very anthemic, brassy stuff going on. Tomb Raider, as I mentioned before, Junkie XL, probably his worst stuff that he's put out lately. He did some, I loved Mad Max, but it just sounded like a bunch of noise. There was nothing memorable out of the whole film, out of the whole score to me.
It's not good.
So, I mean, you basically listened to it and it just was nothing there.
Wrinkly.
Wrinkly in Time. That was, Wrinkle in Time. I started listening to that this morning and I kind of turned it off. Ramin Djawadi, behind Game of Thrones and Westworld. Love his past stuff. Got 3 tracks into this one and I turned it off. It really wasn't grasping me at all. Looking forward to this week. Jack White's album comes out, Boarding House Reach. And in terms of what I want to see at the theater, I'm probably going to go see Isle of Dogs, Wes Anderson's new film. Just
be good.
Loaded with talent and stop animation. Can't go wrong with there. The other thing coming out is Pacific Rim 2. Once upon a time, I had interest in a Pacific Rim 2, but with what finally came out with the cast and what I've seen by now, it's one of those, it's going to save it for a Netflix day or whatever it comes out to be, because Isle of Dogs is going to tackle that one. And then
like my note.
I've got a huge queue for this week to go through, so I don't know if I'm going to get to that. I've got Sneaky Pete season 2. I'm going to get started on Counterpart, which I
want to see that so bad.
It looks good. It's got
Simmons,
J.K. Simmons as the lead role. Everybody was the talk of why he was getting ready for Justice League was J.K. Simmons was getting bulked up. Why is he getting bulked up? Especially in Batman and Justice League, he wears a jacket, so you don't see him bulked up. Well, it was actually for the show Counterpart, where he plays a double agent, and so he's pretty bulked up, J.K. Simmons. And
I read the pilot, so it should be good. I'm looking forward to catching the pilot, if anything else.
Got high reviews, and so.
Right.
I probably would have to go back into therapy, seeing him again. I don't know. Whiplash really screwed me up.
That's why he got Oscar. He screwed a lot of people up.
Well, did you see it?
Yes.
Did it screw you up?
No.
Okay. Screwed me up.
And as I said, Happen Leonard, I'm digging into season 3. Just started, so it's going to be a slower burn before I get through. So I can't kind of burn through season 3 because it's just being released.
Okay.
And if there's room, maybe a ghost story, but I really don't have too much interest in that movie.
Not the movie.
She's talking about the score. The
soundtrack.
Is fantastic.
Just listen to it.
It's really, if you want to, it's meditative. It's really meditative.
Didn't put that. You just said add a ghost story.
Add a ghost story.
It's really meditative.
Soundtrack, and you can find it on Spotify.
And another show I'm looking forward to actually starts up next Sunday, so I'll probably talk about it next Sunday. Is Billions.
Is that Paul's show?
3. Paul Giamatti and Damien. Yeah. The guy who played Life. It's a fantastic film about the ADA of New York going after a big Wall Street type firm. It's just fantastic writing. It's quick. And it's written by Andrew Sorkin.
Yeah, so there's a sequel to the...
It'll come to you.
Or you can just edit this out.
And on that bombshell.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was thinking, no, the movie I was just talking about that I love, The Big Chill. There's a sequel to The Big Chill. And
there's like 3?
No.
I wouldn't know.
I'll come up with it. And it's written by a kid that is the son of somebody important. And I was so annoyed.
I thought it was a series of 3.
It sucked. No. It's like The New Big Chill. And it's written by...
Well, they just put the series out, the new series of Big Chill, I believe is what you're talking about.
What?
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Moving on.
All right. On that bombshell, we are ending our show.
Rude.
Yeah, we're rude.
About Alex. There it is. About Alex.
Okay.
Tony, where can we find you?
I'm all over Facebook. I'm on Twitter at SMTORCHIO.
Valerie?
I'm technically on Facebook. But I would not check that as much. I would do Pennyline64 at on Twitter or Instagram if you really want to look into my life.
If you want to stalk.
Yeah.
Don't stalk. It's creepy.
It is very creepy.
There's nothing to stalk here.
And you can find me pretty much everywhere as GF Media or at GF Media CEO. You can find us at culturalstew.net or at culturalstewnet on Twitter and culturalstew on Facebook. Catch you next week.
See ya.
The intro and break music is Please Listen Carefully by Jazir, available through the Creative Commons license from Free Music Archive. The outgoing music is provided by Epidemic Sound. Please see our show notes for details on what the outgoing song is and who it is by. And also, as always, if you have a piece of music that you'd like us to play or consider playing, please contact us today. Like what you've heard? Want to continue to hear more? Please consider Patreon. What is Patreon, you ask? Patreon is a content creator support site, a way for people to support the things they love and allow creators to continue creating the content that they love. Please consider heading over to patreon.com/GFmedia and becoming a Patreon supporter today.